right, so I want to just literally kind of do a year-end type of call, man, because I don't think we're gonna need to do one, the week of Christmas or the week, like next week's already the last week really, and then you got Christmas, I think that comes on. So we're gonna kind of do this call as a year-end and kind of get some notes out there, or letting you know kind of what the market's looking like. I want to kind of hear how you guys are going to finish off your year. Just see where you guys are at, how you guys are looking for 2023, and in essence also do a couple of catch up or cleanup items that we have, but we'll get to that. Everybody right now is really kind of seeing what the first quarter of 23 is going to look like, right? Because that's crucial. It's very crucial, especially with the current, environments of our economy. But I'm always want to keep an eye on it or keep a finger on it. But the reality is, guys, we're not looking to see any major adjustments in our real estate market as far as rates, as far as inventory. If anything, we will have a much stronger ability for our buyers to get more of the service that they deserve versus the service that we were giving them during this whole market of a seller's market. But really we were just saying, look, you're lucky if you could even get your contract accepted as is, above list price. We were really just, unfortunately, trying to just get the deal versus really looking at the benefits of the whole package for the buyers. Now, it's not to our fault. It's just the way the economy was going and the way the market was trending. Now, though, we do have that balance, right? Come first quarter, second quarter, mainly in second quarter, we will have that strength for our buyers to really be able to negotiate a fair offer for our clients, right? Because inventory, whether it stays stagnant the way it has been, or even if it does increase, right now trends are saying that in 2023, the inventory will increase. People are still going to need to sell. Banks and lending institutions are looking for formulas to identify the issue of the rate and how you can figure out how to do buy downs on your contracts, or do 15-year arms again, or 7-year arms, whatever, makes relative sense to get you at the best rate possible. So there's a lot of lending institutions, to include banks, that are working that way. So I guess the reality is interest is not going to matter, guys. I mean, the reality is, people, if you educate your consumer properly, yes, Sean. If you educate your consumer properly, and the lender that you would partner with educates your consumer properly, or your client properly, you won't run into that disparity of, man, the rate's too high, what am I going to do, right? The main thing is we will have opportunities to really negotiate for the benefit of the buyer in this one. To give you examples, I literally just got one in my email. New construction builders are starting to lease properties, guys, even before they go on the market. I just got one right now, a flyer that came in, says, look, we're leasing brand new construction, just completed in December, and it's going straight to lease for $1,625. So that's kind of saying something. They don't want to get caught with a bunch of huge inventory, without getting it outside of underneath their umbrella. So what are they doing? They're capitalizing perhaps on properties they know that they're going to have a little bit of a trouble to sell. So they're immediately identifying the issue by going straight to lease. We will see a drop in essence of sales right around 5 to 7% is what they're talking about, right, for 2023. Now, do we price that? And that's in the St. Louis market alone. That is literally in the St. Louis market and the metro market alone. The way I see it, we can look at what's going on, or we can really focus on how do we need to educate our clients and work with the proper lending institutions to make sure you guys are looking for the benefit, of your consumer or your buyer in this case. Because remember, you're going to have a lot more buyers now that are going to want more of a negotiated position than, you know, the previous buyers we had in April and, you know, in March and May, where they were fighting to get their contract looked at. So it's a good thing, right? So now you'll be able to pull a good, you know, you'll be a full efficient realtor again, where you're doing the best you could back then, but now you have where you can say, look, we have a property, this is what it is, we're gonna give you an offer of this much, we want closing costs, we also want buy downs, you know, we want buy downs on the rate that you're gonna work with us with, or maybe even you're gonna have them pay for title fees or closing costs, whatever. You're gonna be back to that, guys. And that's okay, right? That's okay. You just got to get reacclimated on how to fill out the special agreement section and or the other section where you got to put in the closing costs and the home warranty stuff. Now, let's speak about auxiliary items in a contract, right? You will now be able to ask for home warranties on everything. And if they don't want to give you one, you can feel confident to say, look, if you don't give me one, we're walking, because, you know, you can do that now. Before, people are like, look, you're buying it as is. I'm not doing anything. You want to do a home inspection? Great. But that home inspection is basically for your eyes only and for your common knowledge. That is it. Now it doesn't, right? Now you can go over and say, look, we got an inspection. We're going to negotiate. We're going to be firm, but we're going to also make sure we have a balanced deal across the board. Any questions on the points that I'm touching base on? So first quarter of 2023, guys, is literally making sure, in my opinion, you're going to kind of want to make sure who you're working with and what type of lenders out there are going to be able to work for the benefit of your buyer. So that way you can immediately discredit the whole issue about the interest rate. Interest rates right now between 6 point something and 7%, right? For a 30-year fixed, right? Now, with that being said, you also have, you know, adjustable rates that are going to be at on the fives, mid fives. You're not going to see anything below 5%, guys, unless there's a buy down. And in order to get those type of numbers, it's going to be an adjustable or a 15-year arm or a 7-year arm, right? Not adjustable, but basically an arm, right? And it's going to have to house for a 30-year, you know, mortgage payment. It's going to be calculated over 30 years. Hey, Ms. K, you know, we're going to calculate it over 30 years, all that kind of good stuff. But this is the time in January. I mean, December's already gone, guys, right? We're in the middle of December already is how I like to describe it. It's already gone. So what are we doing for January? And here's the thing, a couple quick points that you guys need to think about. Have you met with your client, your partners? Have you sat down and talked to your lenders? Have you sat down and talked to your title companies? Have you sat down and talked to your inspectors? Have you sat down and talked to your warranty companies? And if you haven't done none of that, look, we're behind the ball already, but I guess get it in January. Can we do it in January? Or is anybody not interested in doing that? And let's hear it out, right? You guys get to do your business how you want, but I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Because right now, you know, these institutions are heavily trying to embed themselves in assisting you guys, because they know that the markets are going to be now a lot more competitive. And that's what they, you know, ideally, that's what they want. For example, let's talk about home warranties. How hard was it to get a home warranty paid by your sellers when it was, you know, a competitive market? Very hard, right? Well, guess what's going to happen now? It's not going to be that hard anymore. You know, lenders were in a position where buyers were just coming and asking, hey, how can I get approved? And guess what? I'll throw a bunch of money above and beyond the loan. So they were very fruitful, right? Lenders were making good money, good business transactions. But where does that leave the agent? This is the time you maximize that, right? Say, hey, we did a lot of great business together, but now we're into that challenge year of getting out of 22, going into 23, and we need to make sure that everything that we're doing has to be calculated. has to be precise. From marketing, branding to business planning. A lot of these people want to be part of your business plan, guys. Why not use them?
Okay, you guys might say what you guys.
Yeah, can you
Yes,
enlighten us on some of the stuff you've done, especially the people that say they're doing, but they're not,
Yes.
right?
Sean and I met last week with Homestead, and we met Greg, and we met with his marketing team, and we actually have an appointment for tomorrow, and whiteboard stuff, and which I know some. No, actually, they were really helpful too, because they have examples of what they've done. They have scripts that we can use. You know, they have a lot of great things already in place, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You know, just pick what you like, and they're very happy to help out with that. So yeah, we're going tomorrow and getting that taken care of.
I love it. Look, you either can get serious or you don't, right? You can be a business or you can be a real estate agent. Those are things. You want to be a real estate agent? That's good. This is what we're in business for, right? But you're going to always be a real estate agent that really works off the cusp and gets tangled into that roller coaster effect if you don't have a business plan. You know, I'm leaving everything on the table because it's the last call of the year and I want to hear from you guys, right?
Well, the other thing with Homestead too, and Sean, you can probably kick in on this as well, but they're willing to do, you know, I mean, anything, you know, if we want to do print stuff, they'll help with that. If they want to do, you know, any kind of video stuff, they'll help with that. I mean, they've left it wide open for us.
Right. Well, what I really like about Homestead, one, it's all free, except for when you do print, you have to pay for the postage and stuff and take it to the post office. And Greg this morning messaged both me and Kay and said, hey, we're going to do whiteboards this week. So he is thinking about our business plan, even when we're not thinking about our business plan. That's what I really liked about Greg this last couple of weeks. Him and I have been getting really more bonded and close because no other loan officer has done that for me. You know, said, hey, they've all mentioned that we can do these things, but he's really just kind of pushing the envelope and saying, come on in. Hey, have you thought about this? You know, he's really wanting to be a part of the team more. And that's the kind of vendors we need, you know.
I might say that Sean and Kay, the thing they were talking about, the whiteboarding, is to make sure everybody knows what that is. They make they're like cartoons, and they make a little avatar caricature of you, and you're in there, and it's talking about, you know, how to get prepared if you're going to buy, when you're going to list your house, what renovations you need to make if you're going to put on, all those different things. The really great thing about the whiteboarding is, I was talking to Neil about this yesterday because he did some of these whiteboards and he hasn't used them for a while. I said, there's absolutely no reason you can't, those don't go out of style. They're not time sensitive. They are always good. What do they call it? Evergreen. You can just use them and put them out whenever. If you
It's almost like fillers, right?
It is
you can use some fillers.
Yeah.
It's just fillers. B-roll, which is in the show business,
Yeah.
they call it B-roll.
And it's all branded, so it's all your stuff and your logos and everything that goes with it. So anytime you put that out, there's not a downside to it, and it's already done. It's done. It's just part of that, and you just put it over here in your automation column.
Yeah, and they get it ready for us, and you know, we just. I like it.
I like that.
Well, what's everybody else thinking here for 2023, or at least first quarter 23? Craig, let's get some input from you, man. You're a veteran on this call because, you know, you've been in the business longer than everybody besides myself and Kay. But tell us a little bit what your thoughts are. What do you got going on?
Well, I'm working with several buyers that are very particular on what they're wanting in terms of area. I've got one, she's probably a buyer up to like 950, and she only wants one particular subdivision. That's it. And so it's a waiting game there. Another buyer wants a condo in the West End, but I'm trying to get him up in his price point. I think he's too low in his expectation, and there's a lot of shit in the Central West End that needs updating. So I'm working on him. He's a past client too. And a third one wants Webster. So we're looking at everything that hits the market. and then I'll get a listing out of it too when they sell. But thinking about business for next year, I think there are a lot of the old things we used to do that we have to start doing again. Like you said, partnering with a lender, getting a rate sheet flyer together for your listing, you know, putting the sign writer on, home warranty included, and conditioning your sellers that it's totally different now. It's totally different from 6 months ago. And they have to be realistic on the price. And I think most of the ones I've talked to that are thinking about coming on the market next year are understanding that they have to get some things done. You can't have, you know, all the bathrooms renovated, but one that looks like 1980. You need to go in and throw some money at that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I'm working.
Have you started, Creighton, kind of finding out exactly? Because I know back in the day when you were in your partnership prior, you know, with Mona, but I know you guys continue to do your own thing, and that's awesome. But I remember like every year you guys would sit down with all your vendors and say, okay, this worked, this didn't work. Next year, we're going to start looking at this. Are you going to continue to do that on you for your business?
Yeah, I'm continuing to do that because December is a great month to do that. You're also getting your stuff together for taxes. So it's, you know, I've talked with Sean about how to kind of control where all the information is. And it's definitely a time to look at what did you spend where and see if you got a return on it or not. Should you continue to do it? And I do that every year. That's just, you know.
Correct. Yeah. And that's one thing I love about what you do, Creighton, is that you guys actually, or I'd say you guys, but you yourself, you know, every year you guys kind of, you sit down and you kind of evaluate how that year went with the vendors that you use. And maybe it wasn't like a straightforward, hey, we are going to do business together, so let's work collectively. But it was kind of like, okay, we had deals here, and there, but you really sat down and evaluated where that business came, how did it come, and how much did it cost? So, and since you brought that up, Creighton, this is very important to also digest, guys. Being that the market and the conditions the way it is, you will see your marketing budget or your marketing dollars increase. I'll just tell you that right now. It's going to increase. Why? Because you're going to have to get more exposure out there to get more listings and to obviously solidify the buyer's needs. Why? Because you're now going to have to get your name out, and your brand is going to be much more crucial this time around because of the way the rates look and because of the way the shortage of inventory that still looks to be stagnant in 2030. You're going to have to put some good effort. So you will have an increase in marketing. It always happens. It always happens during these types of times.
Another thing I think it's more important too is like your past clients for this past year or the year prior, they're your best source of referrals. You're still kind of fresh in their mind. They love you. So pick up the phone and call them and see how things are doing, because 99% of them will give you a referral at some point. And going into uncertain market times, you need those referrals, no matter how big they are.
One of the things that we were, this was last week, we were looking at that case study of this couple that had moved from Florida back into her hometown. And they did a lot of volume. But what I was wanting to bring up is that one of the things that they did is they made sure, and it's like what you're talking about, Creighton, is they made sure that they actually lined out in their budget that a certain percentage of the sale went to the referral column. And so they, considering what they do, 56 million or something like that. But they had, 3 or 4 big appreciation type things that they did for the referral people that ended up to be about $90-some odd thousand. But that was taken out of a percentage of their 56 million. And when they started growing their business, that was the percentage, and it just continued to grow. But one of the things I think you've got to think about with referrals, absolutely you want to stay close to them, which Creighton's talking about, so that they don't forget how great you are and how much they like you and how much they think you're a good person to go help somebody else that they know. but you also want to reward them in a way that they know that you appreciate them, that keeps your top 25 a hot list of them feeling like they're part of your business. So it's almost, when you're thinking about going forward, especially, you know, take the first quarter, second quarter, whatever it is, what percentage of that amount of money that you make goes to keeping that hot list hot? And then, you know, I think it should be a percentage that you keep on the stove, that you keep using to push that back into them feeling like they're a part of you.
Totally agree. Hey, Sean, you put something on the chat if you want to go ahead and address that. You're on mute, buddy. There
Sorry,
you go.
I was answering Creighton's chat. It wasn't for everybody.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'll just disregard that, bud. Disregard that.
Yeah. So
I'll
now
just hide that.
everybody knows I'm getting a haircut this afternoon.
Hey, that's all right. We got you, bud.
Therefore the hat.
Therefore the hat.
Therefore the hat, yes.
All right, but listen, the reality is, this is the time, guys. I mean, we've been talking about this all year to make sure how important it is to structure a business model, have a business plan. This is, at this point, fourth quarter finishing up. It's a good time to really sit down and meet with your lenders, meet with your vendors, you know, all of them, you know, because it's crucial. You know, you might find vendors that might want to do something special for your team or your company, your business, to hopefully add some insight value to your buyers, right? Or to your sellers. You never know. But, you know, until you sit down and meet with them and kind of get a plan of action, that's the only way you're going to find out. Right now, this 2020 is the year you need to make sure you have all your partners engaged in helping you continue to build your business. Rates again.
And they need to too, Jose.
Right. No, don't get me wrong. They wanted more so than you guys, to be honest with you.
They've been busy on refis. They were making tons of money. They're getting back into the world of what is, they're on the exact same. I had a conversation with Russ last week and Greg last week and USA Mortgage last week. It's all the same talk as what we're talking about. They're coming, the middle of the road is the client. But both sides know that the world's changed and everybody's got to lock hands and figure out how to get to that client.
I agree. Guys, it's you know, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but this is a good time to take advantage of that, all right? How are you guys coming along with your business plans? Or how are you looking at 2023? You know, what's your first quarter looking like for business-wise? You know, I know Creighton broke down his buyers, you know, their needs, but in essence, let's talk about the overall compass of your business. What are you guys looking like? Anybody at the table can talk to you too, or on TV.
One thing I was wanting to bring up, because I've been talking to a lot of different people about, and one of the things that I think might be easier to look at when you're talking about a business plan is because we don't know what the rest of this 2023 is going to be. But we do know first quarter is what first quarter is, because we're going to come out January, February. To me, I think it's easier to sit down and say, and when you meet with these partners, how are we going to plan this first quarter? What are we going to do for the month of January, the month of February, and actually figure out, automate as much as you can, figure out your marketing as much as you can, figure out what your baseline goal is. Is it you want to complete 2 deals, whatever that is, and then back into that. You know, how many people do I need to contact? How many things do I need to do to create an appointment? I think that if you bite off the year a quarter at a time, it becomes more digestible, because you can then start figuring out a momentum that will take you through the first 2 or 3 months here that will give you a guidepost. Because, you know, do we really know what's going on in June? We'll probably have to readjust and evolve. But you can definitely plan up that first quarter to make it feel like you've got a good game plan. It's like going into a game. You know, what are you going to do the first half? You get that point, and then you readjust. But I think, don't overwhelm yourself with a thought. Figure out where you want to go each month, and then back into it.
You know, and take in consideration that you have weather, that's also gonna be a factor in January too, and February, guys. There'll be some snow days, you know. Those snow days, you should block them out when that does happen and work on your business model, work on your plan, work on your foundation. Work on trying to make sure that everybody that you said you're gonna do business with stays true in accountability, right? You gotta be accountable. Have them hold you accountable, you guys hold each other accountable. Okay, so now we've addressed that, right? Here's what I want. Being that it's our last meeting, right? Being that it's our last meeting of the year. What did you guys think about the course itself of doing business your way? Was it worth it for you guys? Did it make sense? Did it help? Did it improve? Or if it didn't, let me know. Or what is it additional that you guys feel like you want to get more knowledge on, right? And feel free to be open about it. Let us know, because this is the year we're not stopping. If anything, we're gonna have doing business your way 2.0 next year. We're already working on it, but we're not gonna talk about business plans as much, because guess what? We already assume that you should already have it, right? We should already assume that you guys already have your vendor relationships. We are already gonna assume that you have your marketing and your planning and all that stuff structured. So in 2023, what are we gonna be talking about? Straight business. Straight business. Okay. For new agents, we're gonna have a new agent roundtable in 2023. We're gonna kind of talk about that in our managers meeting tomorrow. But for new agents, we will have a roundtable, discussion on how to get and prep. So you guys will have your own actual program and class setting, and it's gonna be live. It won't be Zoom. So I will ask for your dedication and time to come into every office we decide to do this at, because I want to have a legit discussion on how to better your business, being that you guys just got into the business. So those are two couple hits that I'm throwing out there your ways. But what did you guys think? What did you guys see? Let me know. What are your thoughts? Did it help? It didn't help. I just want to know. Be straight and honest.
I liked it. I thought that it kept us on point, gave us new ideas, and keeps things fresh. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Love it. Thank you, Joe. Anybody else?
I found a lot of use in it, just because things that I would normally think of, and just a good meeting every other week to kind of, for us all to get together. And Jose, you really boost our confidence, or at least mine anyway. And every time I get off a call, I'm motivated to go do more. So that's with both of your calls and Brink's calls. So that's why I like them, like every week. It's just a nice little touch base, and but lots of really great information. I've learned a lot this year. So
That's awesome, Sean. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Sean. Anybody else? I know Creighton, you've been on them here and there, but that's cool. But we always love your engagement because you bring experience to the table. So I do like that. But anything you'd like to see from an experience side, right?
I want to see commissions go back up.
Right.
I've struggled all year with 5%, 5.25%, all these. And then you look at things that are for sale and buyer's agencies 2.5. I guess there's so many agents that don't have any business that they're just, undercutting and stuff. I don't know how to bring that back up.
So you know how to bring that back up. This is actually good news for you guys. These type of market conditions and trends automatically allow you to increase your commission. Why? Because you're going to work twice as hard. And those clients that select you, they're selecting you on your value, your credibility, your experience, versus anybody can sell my house right now. I can even put a for sale sign and it'll sell today. That's over. So
right.
Now
I understand that, and I'm not bashful to tell somebody about my value. However,
no, but it's going to naturally happen, is what I'm saying, Creighton. The market's going to trend itself to do that, because you're going to find a lot of agents, such as the ones you were talking about, that were breaking the commission down to 4, 4.5, maybe under 5. Those guys are going to start weeding themselves out, because at that point, it's going to take a lot more than just putting a for sale sign on the door, in front of the yard. It's gonna take some more understanding of how to market and push that property for sale. Because now again, it's gonna realign itself. So what happens when the market realigns itself? Sellers are really now gonna depend on their agents to sell, and they're gonna want a good agent. And that's where you're gonna come in and say, I'm the best agent in this grid. And this is what I charge.
My second question is, do you think we'll see some of these big teams start to disintegrate with, higher rates and more inventory and that kind of stuff? I seem to go against more teams now, and honestly, I hate working with teams because nobody knows who's on first on the other side.
Yeah. So to my point, even in the beginning of the year, I always said that teams are going to start becoming less and less utilized because they're starting to become more collaboration amongst co-agencies existence. So in other words, agents that are not necessarily a team, but they can partner. I'll throw an example like a Sean and a Kay. They've been accountable, but let's just say Sean has a property that they called him on in Fenton. And let's say that Sean didn't have a lot of experience in the Fenton market. Well, he'll say, hey, you know what? I'm going to probably use this property and collaborate with Kay, and we can work together collectively to get this one done. We don't have to be partners, but in this case, we'll just, we'll collaborate, to get the deal done because she has experience. But I also want to still be a part of that package. I don't want to just refer it, right?
Right.
And that's what you're going to start seeing more and more come out because it's easier that way, right? A lot of the team environments, unfortunately, you can talk to the team leads. There's a lot of turnover, especially this past, 2022, because deals were so easy to get, especially if you're a heavy listing team. It was a piece of cake.
Yeah.
But guess what? As now the market starts transitioning to a balanced market, it's not going to be that easy. So guess what? A lot of these agents that are under those team leads that have their mouth open like a little bird just waiting for food, they're not going to be fed.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Which means there's overhead, there's a lot of others. So there's going to be some shifting for sure. So I think your 2 points, Creighton, if I had my Swami hat like Johnny Carson, for those of people that are around our age, I will tell you right now, teams are you'll start seeing a little less of, I'm not going to tell you they're going to fall off the face of the earth. You'll see less of, or you'll see team members that are going to branch out on their own and try to figure it out. And you're going to see that commission start rising. So that's one of the benefits, though, of a restabilization in our market. Commissions to become a priority now for sellers because they need to find the right agent and pay them really well to get it done, right? So to your point, we can always have sessions and training sessions and methodologies and structures and systems on how to go out there and present why you're worth what you're worth. But at the end of the day, I've always said it from day one. You should be able to go out there and tell them what you're worth any day and Sunday to include, or any day and to include Sunday, because your value is your time and your value is what you put on your time. And yes, it must have been definitely a lot more complicated when you were out there, fighting for your listings. I get that, but you're not going to be fighting so much for listings anymore. If anything, you're going to be fighting on who's the better quality agent to get that 6% listing, or maybe that 6.5%, right? Remember, we're in an industry that we continue to fight for our commissions. Every year, every month, every day, we are the only type of industry that we continue to fight for our actual regular pay, let alone raises, right? There's no such thing as a raise in real estate because the market ends up dominating and controlling what we should be charging. Thus, these past several years, we were charging not what our time was worth, but basically what we needed to do to get the deal, the listing, right?
Yeah.
Here's the other thing, guys, okay? Another thing is this. Don't be afraid to call into your buyers and ask them for that administrative fee, all right? Because as a buyer's agent, you are now going to responsibly, I wouldn't say you weren't responsible before, but unfortunately we were kind of handing our buyers on a platter every deal because we had no choice. And the buyers were aware of that, right? They knew they had to go in as is, no money, whatever they had to do to get the deal, above list price, all that. Now The market changed. Now you'll be able to service that client. And guess what? It's gonna take a lot more work. Don't be afraid to increase your rate by at least charging an admin fee. It could be a couple $100, or you could be like someone in our, or a few of our agents here in our company, they charge $500. And they don't wait from that, right? They don't wait from that. So there's ways to really sit down and show what your value is, okay? And now is the time more so than ever to do so, because you're in that market. That market's gonna allow you to do it. I hate, it's like beating a dead horse right now, but this market coming up will allow you to make more money because you're gonna really work for it. I mean, that's just it. And those sellers want it. There's properties, guys. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to the days on market. Has anybody paid attention on their days on market in your grids?
They're going up.
They're going up, right?
One up.
Well, and some of those companies now too, I'm of course hoping that the open doors and the offer permits go away completely, but you know, they were offering bonuses for a while, you know, around September, they were offering bonuses because a lot of their stuff was hidden. And then they dropped the commissions, because I'm closing on one this week that they dropped it down to like 2.25, which was bullshit, but.
I love it when Kay just throws it out.
But now they're raising their commissions up now on some properties to 3.25 because the trend is it. So, you know, so hopefully I'd like them to get all their stuff sold and then get the hell out of town.
Yeah, and that's what's gonna happen, okay?
Yeah.
I think right now, you're gonna see a lot of these platform agencies start decreasing their volume of inventory and get really bare bones, because they all lost money in this last third and fourth quarter. They're gonna show huge losses at the end of this quarter. I'll tell you that right now. I can bet you guys this TV that I've had here for 6 months, that they're gonna lose their ass off, you know, come the end of fourth quarter. So I can assure you guys that. So the main focus, though, guys, at the end of the day, remember, there's two things in life that you have to have humans involved in: real estate and making babies. Okay? Just leave it at that.
Who's making babies?
Humans. You said I said humans, not computers. Humans. All right. But at this point too, though, it's either shit or get off the pot too for 2023 as well, right? You got to be prepared. You have to be aligned. You need to realize that you run a business. You're not just a real estate agent. You're a business. What are you going to do to align your business for 2023 to make sure you maximize your revenue? Remember the story when I tell you guys that your blue license form, you know, your license document, right? It's identical to the ones that doctors have, to the ones lawyers have, to the ones CPAs have. The only thing other than that is just what the division that you're a part of. They're all the same. So why are they considered businesses and you're not? It's that simple. Like next year, I'm hoping that I don't have to keep reminding you guys that you guys are a business, but trust me, I will, and I'll still will, but you guys need to remember, you guys are a business. So focus on your strategies for this at the end, you know, before the end of the month closes and for January. What do you need to structure? What do you have to have in line? And from there, I mean, vendorship relationships, marketing packages, campaigns, social media presence, because remember, marketing and social media, I completely separate those two things because they are two different matters. Okay. And also know exactly what your expenses are going to be at bare minimum for the first quarter. What's your cost for doing business? You know, most companies have cost of goods. They call it COGS, right? Where they have to buy inventory to sell inventory to make money. You guys have to know what your cost of doing business is. What is that? It could be obviously your living environment, right? You know, I need to make $4,500 a month, or I need to make $5,500 a month, or $10,000 a month just to cover that. So then on top of that, what is my business cost of doing business? Well, you know, I'm going to start putting some mailers out there. I got to really focus on my CRM, my top 25s, my top 15s, whatever, you know, top 100s, top 25s. What are we doing? Right? This is it. Because remember, come January, doing business 2.0, doing business your way 2.0 is not gonna relate too much of this. It's gonna be relating a lot on just business, hard code knows business. Cool? Any questions? Guys, if I don't see you guys, before the end of the year, I want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas, a happy holidays. All of the Hanukkahs, anything that I missed that I'm not, everything I can say to you guys. I love you guys. Happy holidays. I want to see you guys really focus at least these couple of weeks, guys, and just engaging and strategizing and setting your platform for your business, okay? Feel free to call me, guys. Feel free to text me. Feel free to set up time with me. If you guys want to sit down and just chat over coffee, let's do it, okay? Let's do it, please. I don't mind, but I don't want to feel like I'm hindering or pestering you guys. If you guys want to, I'm here for you guys. Brent's here for you guys. Mary's here for you guys. Kristen's here for you guys. Anything you guys need from us, we're here. Right? All right, guys. I'll let you guys out 10 minutes early.
Thank you.
Any
Happy
questions?
holidays.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.
Great, I'm calling you next.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
care.
Thank you.